Martin is taking over the company. It seems that your presence is causing him trouble. With that said, I have no choice but to let you go." I was left speechless by the shock. "You have 10 days to hand over your duties, pack your things, and leave. Please vacate the house as well," said my father, who raised unlucky me. I was suddenly fired from the company that my father runs, where I had been working diligently up until now. It seems that my father wants to make my younger brother, Martin, the president. Wait a minute. Fired for such a reason? I have always worked hard for the company. I have been making profits. Just the other day, I was praised for doing well. Don't act high and mighty over trivial profits. It's not just Martin, I don't like you either. Neither did your father or mother. I would like to be repaid for all the expenses of taking care of you over the years. The conversation is over. Get out, you worthless freeloader." No matter how much I protested, I couldn't be taken seriously, and I had no choice but to silently resign as instructed. Damn it. Is such a situation even permissible? However, my actions from now on will surely make my father and brother see hell. I am Craig Olson, a 35-year-old salaryman. I work at a promotional planning company run by my father. However, I am not his biological child. My real parents died in an accident when I was a junior high school student. I was taken in by my uncle's family and welcomed as an adopted child. That might sound like a good story, but honestly, my uncle's house was uncomfortable. I have no memories of being loved. My uncle always did nothing but curse at me. Incompetent, troublesome, foolish, failure. He came up with a variety of new insults each time, so diverse that I couldn't help but be impressed by his creativity. The criticism directed at me was indeed severe. However, hearing things like, "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree," "Your parents were truly good for nothings," and "You are just like your parents," a bad seed. It was unbearable to have my beloved parents belittled. There was a reason behind why my uncle spoke negatively about my parents. My mother was raised in an orphanage. Due to my father's high social status, his family strongly opposed his marriage to her. Despite this, my parents went against the opposition and married, becoming estranged from the family as a result. Even after their deaths, my uncle continued to look down on them. He even insulted my parents in front of me. Furthermore, I was constantly compared to my cousin Martin, who is my uncle's biological son. "Why can't you do even that?" Martin would have already done it. "Don't think of yourself as a brother. You and Martin are different from birth," I was told. It's not just the comparisons. Martin has always been treated specially. Only Martin's birthdays were celebrated. Only he was taken to amusement parks and zoos, and he always received better food and clothes. Indeed, Martin was smart, quick-witted, and good-looking. I was not particularly outstanding, inconspicuous, and not his biological son. The abnormal love for Martin was a situation I had to accept. Still, I had a strong desire to go to college. I had fields I wanted to study. However, my uncle's response was, "An incompetent fool like you doesn't need to go to college. Don't waste money on tuition. Just do menial work at our company." Thus my path to university was blocked, and I reluctantly ended up working at my uncle's company. At one point, I considered leaving home and pursuing education with a scholarship, but I became disheartened when my uncle threatened to sabotage my plans. Resigned to obeying my uncle, I started working right after high school, engaged in menial tasks. Although I've lost my drive, the desire to be acknowledged by my uncle prompted me to dedicate myself to my job. There were many college graduates at the workplace, and initially no one took me seriously as a high school graduate. I can't succumb to this situation. I'll show them someday. And so I decided to take the initiative and accept the tasks that others disliked. I'll handle the cleaning. Shall I carry this to the warehouse? I can help. Tonight's the drinking party, right? Everyone please go ahead. I'll take care of the phone calls. Is it a customer? I'll prepare the tea. Delivering documents to Company A? I'll go. It's no problem since I'm heading that way. Through these minor daily tasks, I became well versed in both internal and external information. As I began to apply this knowledge to sales strategies, the way my colleagues treated me gradually changed. Let's go together to visit that company. It's reassuring to have you, Olson. Can I count on you for this case? You're always a big help. This is how my reputation within the company improved. But that wasn't all. During a customer visit, I'm Olson. I look forward to continuing to work with you. Oh, you're Olson? Your phone manners are marvelous. I've been wanting to meet you in person. I began to receive more positive reactions like this. These interactions sometimes led to contracts. As I repeated this pattern, a significant opportunity came my way. A regular customer asked us to handle the marketing for a new product, and I was appointed as the project leader. Olson, I want you to take charge of this. Are you sure I'm the right person? You can do it. It's a chance for you to stand on your own. Give it a try. I then immersed myself in thorough research on the new product. I completed the project proposal and took 2 junior colleagues with me to the client. After the president, sales manager, and development officer quietly listened to our presentation, the manager commented, "Interesting approach. What's your view from the development side?" "It's very well researched. It's a fresh approach, distinct from our previous promotions." Following that remark, the president said, "I like it. Let's proceed in that direction. Work out the details with them. We'll leave the promotional activities to you." As I exchanged glances with my colleague, I expressed our gratitude by saying, "Thank you so much." "Wonderful results, Olson," my boss exclaimed excitedly after the report. "This project with the new product is crucial for the survival of our company. I never imagined it would succeed. This is a big opportunity. Let's tackle this together." I felt recognized at last and doubled down on my efforts. I visited the clients repeatedly and had numerous discussions. As a result, the new product became a major hit in the market. It was so successful that the president of the client company came to thank us personally. "For the next new product we develop, I want you to be in charge again." When I heard those words, I was moved almost to tears. I was grateful not only to that client, but also to the manager who had chosen me. The reaction of my uncle and Martin was filled with surprise. My uncle said, "I didn't think you had it in you. Well done." And Martin grudgingly admitted, "You do something good occasionally. It might just be a fluke, though." Honestly, I wish they could have been happier, but I didn't expect much from them, always critical as they were. Even if they didn't recognize my efforts, many others did appreciate my hard work. I reassured myself that it was enough. However, that joy was short-lived. "What do you mean I'm being fired?" One day, out of the blue, my uncle told me I was losing my job. "Martin is taking over the company. Your presence is causing him trouble. With that said, I have no choice but to let you go." I was left speechless by the shock. "You have 10 days to hand over your duties, pack your things, and leave. Please vacate the house as well." Wait a minute. Fired for such a reason? I have always worked hard for the company. I have been making profits. Just the other day, I was praised for doing well. Don't act high and mighty over trivial profits. It's not just Martin. I don't like you either. Neither did your father or mother. I would like to be repaid for all the expenses of taking care of you over the years. The conversation is over. Get out, you worthless freeloader. No matter how much I argued, I couldn't be taken seriously, and I was left with no choice but to leave silently as they said whatever they pleased. Damn it, how is this allowed? I slammed my fist down on the documents on my desk in silence. Tears spilled from my eyes out of frustration. Due to my uncle's wishes, not even a farewell party was held. Without the time to plan for the future, I proceeded with the handover and moving. A few colleagues secretly gave me gifts, which was the only consolation. Since then, I've been living a gloomy life in a simple apartment. I need to restart my job search, but I just can't find the motivation. Amidst this, an invitation to a high school reunion arrived. It might change my mood a bit. However, attending it only made me feel more dejected as my classmates seemed to be thriving in both their careers and personal lives. So it seems I might be the only one holed up in a cramped apartment with no job. Just as I was about to head home with these thoughts, someone suddenly called out, "Hey Olson, long time no see." It was Ray's, my old best friend. Ray's and I were in the same class and club during high school, but we lost touch after he went to university and I started working. "It's been a while. How have you been?" When I asked, Ray's replied with enthusiasm, Yeah, I'm busy every day, but I enjoy my work. How about you, Olson? You were working at your dad's company, right? We're rivals then, he said with a laugh. Rivals? Were you in the promotion industry too? Yeah, I guess I never mentioned it. It turns out Reyes was also working in promotions. You joined right after high school, right? It's kind of like you're my senior. If we ever compete, go easy on me. All I could do was give a wry smile at Reyes' words. Actually, I'm not a competitor anymore. I was fired. Reyes looked genuinely shocked by this revelation. What? Fired? But that was your dad's company, right? What did you do? That dad you're talking about isn't really my dad. Maybe on paper, but not in reality. I wanted to think of him as my dad. I was fired because my brother hated me. He was set to take over the company, and I was in the way. Now I'm unemployed. I thought I was doing well, but it all came to nothing in the end. I confessed everything honestly. Reyes was momentarily lost for words, then said, stunned, really? That's what happened. I nodded. Yeah, I'm just tired of everything, living my days in a blur. Pretty pathetic, huh? But Reyes' response was unexpected. He surprisingly said cheerfully, really? That's lucky, isn't it? What are you talking about? I reacted. He continued unabashedly. That means you're free now, right? Yes, that's true. Though somewhat perplexed, I affirmed. That's great, this could really work out. Ignoring my confusion, Reyes jubilantly struck a pose of excitement. What are you talking about? Actually, I've been thinking about starting my own business. Going solo. You had such plans. Once we had been close, but as time passed, our worlds had drifted apart. We were always together during high school. Now, one of us aimed to be an independent promoter. The other, just an unemployed high school graduate. As I hung my head, Reyes continued. Yeah, but as I thought about it, I realized I have my limits. Doing it alone is impossible. That's why I'm looking for a business partner. You're free right now, right? Want to join me? Really? Surprised, I turned to Reyes. With a serious expression, he said, when you were the captain of our club in high school, I always admired your sharp analytical skills. That's what I need. Reading market trends is key in promotion, and you're good at that. I'm sure you'd be a great asset. It was a flattering offer, but I shook my head. Thanks, but I don't think I have that level of skill. I don't want to hold you back. However, Reyes, still serious, patted my shoulder lightly. You see others clearly, but you're not good at self-analysis. I don't know who told you that you lack abilities, but you have both analytical and proactive skills. You should have more confidence in yourself. It's a waste not to. His words struck a chord with me, and after some thought, I decided to join him in starting a new business. All right, I'm in. Good, thank you. I appreciate it, Reyes. I won't forget this favor. You always make such a big deal out of things. Reyes laughed and reached out his hand. I grasped it firmly. Soon after, I moved out of my old apartment and started looking for a new place with Reyes. Since I was changing my address, I thought I should inform my uncle, just in case. Could you forward my mail to my new address? At this request, my uncle scoffed over the phone. An unemployed moving? Huh? I'm not unemployed anymore. I'm starting a business with a friend. We won't cause any trouble. Starting a business? My uncle feigned surprise in an exaggerated way. Laughter leaked through the phone from the other side, probably from Martin. Your recklessness resembles that of your good-for-nothing parents. Don't expect any help from me if you end up in debt. Just ruin yourself as you please. I wasn't expecting anything from you in the first place. Goodbye. Wait, Martin wants to speak. As I was about to hang up, Martin took the receiver. Hey, failure. Do whatever you want, but don't bother us. And don't get familiar just because we're both business owners, you incompetent. Without responding, I ended the call. I no longer had the luxury to think about those two. Together with Reyes, I worked on acquiring new projects. We actively pursued door-to-door sales, continued participating in even the smallest competitions, and achieved results. Reyes, we won that competition. Let's take our proposal and go greet them right away. Really? How many is that for you this month? That's incredible. Reyes always wholeheartedly praised my achievements. I must be some kind of genius to land such good projects like you do, right, Olson? "What are you talking about? Let's go." I responded gruffly out of embarrassment. Though my previous job was tough, I felt a warm sense of accomplishment from the skills I had undoubtedly acquired. Years later, our company had grown slightly in personnel and was regarded as elite. One day, Ray's distributed documents for a new competition during a meeting. "Let's take on this competition." The employees were surprised by the proposal. I was also shocked by its scale. It was a large-scale competition with major corporations also participating. "We have been building up our track record. Now is the time to become a major player. Let's stake everything on this." "But what about the projects we're currently handling?" "We will handle this competition. The projects Olson is in charge of can be delegated to other staff." "But we can't always depend on you, Olson. I'm confident I can handle this. If any issues arise, I'll take responsibility," Reyes declared firmly. Hearing this, the employees responded, "Understood. We'll give it a try. Please do your best, both of you. Let's show that we can manage even without Mr. Olson." Though slightly audacious, their responses were reassuring. Reyes had a way of captivating people with his words, a trait that always surprised me. His influence was strong. Afterward, we holed up in the planning room to refine our plans. I created the outline of the project and Reyes provided feedback. "This competition includes Olson designs," Reyes muttered while holding the project plan I created. Surprised by his words, I looked back at Reyes. "Olson Designs is the company run by my uncle and Martin." Reyes smiled cheerfully and said emphatically, "We'll show them who's the boss." "Yes?" With that, I focused back on the computer. Reyes read through my project plan, making edits. "Olson, this part might be a bit weak." "Yeah, I was also concerned about that." We discussed repeatedly, refining our plan for the competition. On the day of the competition, at the venue, I unfortunately ran into my uncle and Martin. As I tried to pass by ignoring them, Martin scoffed and said, "Oh, you're participating in this competition." Without responding, Reyes stepped in with a smile. "Hello everyone from Olson Designs. I'm Reyes from Craig Designs." As Reyes attempted to hand over his business card, my uncle refused to accept it. "We don't accept business cards from such small-scale businesses, and we have no intention of giving ours either." Reyes, maintaining his smile, picked up the business card that had fallen to the floor. "Why would you say such a thing?" As I openly showed my anger, Reyes waved his hand quietly. "It's okay." My uncle laughed with contempt and said, "Trash sticks with trash. You're in the way." I glared coldly at my uncle and Martin. My body heated up with anger from the insult. "Let's see who the real trash is." Goodbye. I had no intention of losing. The project plan that Reyes and I had worked on all night. There was no way we were going to lose. "Reyes." "What?" "We're going to win." Reyes grinned slyly. "Of course." Several weeks later. "Olson, it's a success. We won magnificently, having put forth all our effort without succumbing to their mockery. Afterwards, we were as busy as a storm. The phone was incessant with requests for work. From A-Toys. "Yes, thank you for calling. We appreciate your continued support." "Yes, thank you." "Please leave it to our company." "Understood. Please hold on for a moment." Reyes, unable to hide his excitement, ended the call and called out to me. "Olson, A-Toys has requested a promotion for their new product and they've specifically asked for you. I've put them on hold, so please take over." A-Toys was a major business partner of my uncle's company. I hurried to the phone. "Hello, thank you as always. This is Olson." "This is Holmes from A-Toys. It's nice to hear your voice again. Whenever I called Olson Designs, you were the one who handled our concerns." I immediately recognized the voice. It was Mr. Holmes, the sales manager. "It's been a while, Mr. Holmes. I've seen the proposal for the competition. It's truly outstanding. We would love to have you work on this." "Thank you. But is there any problem with Olson Designs?" I checked just in case. I was worried about any potential backlash from Olson Designs later on, Mr. Holmes said. I hate to say this about a longtime partner, but we've decided to keep our distance from that company. Unfortunately, the new president doesn't seem to value the old business partners, and it appears the previous generation is okay with that. Our company can no longer affiliate with their high-handed business style. It seems that since Martin took over as president, he has been neglecting long-standing clients. My uncle doesn't seem to intervene or caution him, typical of their behavior. I understand. I will visit you first for introductions and would like to discuss the new product in detail. Thus, an important client agreed to officially contract with our company. After ending the call, Ray showed a smile and flashed a thumbs up. However, the surprises were not over yet. A few days later, Rays and I went to greet Toys. We've been expecting you. Welcome. As we arrived at the reception, Mr. Holmes and a woman who seemed to be his subordinate greeted us. We were quickly shown to the reception room and exchanged business cards. While we were discussing the new product, suddenly the phone in the room rang. "Excuse me for a moment." The woman answered the phone. "Yes, please wait a minute." She placed the receiver down and whispered something to Mr. Holmes. "I see." Mr. Holmes then turned back to us and said, "President Ward would like to meet you. What do you think?" "President Ward?" Rays exclaimed in surprise. Mr. Holmes nodded. "We would be honored," we both said. A few minutes later, the president appeared in the reception room. We stood up and Rays introduced himself. "Nice to meet you. I'm Rays from Craig Designs." "I'm Olson," I continued, handing out my business card. "So, you are Craig Olson." As the president sat down on the sofa, he mentioned my name. "Yes, that's correct." "Are you perhaps the son of James Olson?" Surprised to hear my father's name, I responded, "Yes, that's right." "I thought so." The president looked at me nostalgically and squinted his eyes. "You know, I used to work with your parents a long time ago." "Really?" I exclaimed in surprise. "Yes, indeed. Your father was exceptionally good at identifying the strengths of a product, constantly amazing the developers, and your mother had a talent for brilliantly translating those strengths into proposals. They were considered one of the strongest teams at the company. I truly respected them. I was devastated when I heard about their accident. Having only ever heard negative things about my parents, I was moved by these words and tears came to my eyes. So that's how they were. I'm really happy to hear about my parents. Looking at the plan you submitted, I immediately thought of your parents. You had wonderful parents, and you are also blessed with wonderful colleagues. Keep up the good work." Moved by the president's warm words, I nodded repeatedly. A few days later, as I was leaving the office after finishing work, I stopped in surprise. Craig. Surprisingly, there stood my uncle and Martin. "What are you doing here?" I asked sharply. "We want to talk. I have nothing to talk about with you." Despite my refusal, they persistently brought up the topic, and we eventually headed to a nearby cafe. After ordering, I initiated the conversation. "So, what do you want to talk about?" "We want you to come back," my uncle declared. "What?" For a moment, I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I stared intently at their faces. "Just come back to the company," Martin said, raising his voice. "The cancellation of the contract with Toys is your fault. Because of that, a bad reputation is spreading within the industry, and our clients are starting to leave. Fix this." I was speechless at their unreasonable demands. Martin seemed increasingly frustrated. "Rumors are circulating that the company might go bankrupt, and we're getting constant calls from clients. Handle it." As I remained silent, my uncle also added more. "Have you forgotten all the favors we've done for you? Come back and convince our clients." I sighed deeply and glared at them. "To bring up such a topic, I won't return. Even if I did, the clients who left won't come back." "Uncle, you're really pathetic. The management was better back then, regardless of personal feelings. To spoil your own son and ruin the company, what a sad end." "What are you saying?" "Incompetent, despite being a high school grad," Martin shouted. "And yet, who is trying to bring back this incompetent? What did you learn in college?" "Stop the childish acts. You used to be a bit smarter. In the end, you're a tragic figure, spoiled indiscriminately, leading to such a tragedy. I hear from Toys that they want to entrust their promotion to a reliable company. No one capable of running a business could continue to treat long-standing business partners with arrogance and disdain. It's truly foolish. I feel sorry for the employees who have such a manager. I'd even consider hiring them at our company." Martin lunged at me in a rage, but I dodged his hand and grabbed his collar instead. He turned pale. "The current state of Olsen Designs represents all that you are. If you have time to speak meaninglessly to me, solve your own problems. Don't ever appear before me again." With those quietly spoken words, I left the cafe. Martin sat there bewildered, but it no longer concerned me. Months later, the company run by my uncle and Martin went bankrupt. Martin might have improved slightly from my scolding, but he was essentially a president pushed forward by my uncle. Continuing their unchanged arrogant business, my uncle did not criticize and accepted it, leading clients to depart one after another. Why is the business failing? It's because you all are incompetent. Take responsibility. As a result, a panicked Martin imposed impossible demands on the employees, causing many dissatisfied employees to resign one after another. Eventually, the company accumulated a huge debt and went bankrupt. The guarantor of this debt was my uncle, and even after the bankruptcy, he was left to shoulder the debts. Most of my uncle's assets were mortgaged. Having lost everything, my uncle, at his age, found it difficult to find new employment and resorted to working part-time in cleaning services. Martin, having graduated from a prestigious university, quickly found a new job. However, he repeatedly said things like, "This simple work isn't for me. Such menial tasks should be left to newcomers. I was once a president, after all, and why does no one appreciate me? Everyone is foolish." As a result, he resigned after just 3 months. He continued this pattern, hopping from one job to another. His salary steadily decreased, and poverty loomed near. When asked how I knew about this, Reyes provided the information. "Why do you know such things?" I asked. He casually replied, "In this industry, you can't survive if you're not well informed." I chuckled. "I'd be more afraid of making an enemy out of you than any large corporation." Reyes smiled and silently started his work. "I am truly blessed with great people around me." Our business continued to grow, and we expanded our operations due to the acquisition of new projects. We hired several more staff members as our workload increased. "If this project goes well, we're moving to a bigger office," Reyes said. The planned new office was more than twice the size of our current one. "Rent will be quite something, so let's all pull together." With that, the entire team responded, "Yes." Currently, I'm leading a very fulfilling life. Mr. Olsen, about that project. Mr. Olsen, good timing? Please look at this proposal. Mr. Olsen, we won that competition. Here, no one speaks dismissively of me. Everyone takes my suggestions seriously and incorporates them into their work. Being in an environment where my abilities are recognized makes me truly happy. Daydreaming? What's up? Reyes said. No time to relax. A big job just came in, we've got to work hard. He continued. Being able to work in such an environment is all thanks to the support of someone like Reyes. Really, thank you, Reyes. Save your thanks for after the office move goes well. If it doesn't, that celebration is on you, Ace. He joked. No joke, I laughed in response. I smiled and lightly patted Reyes on the shoulder. One day, I hope to grow into someone who can support others the way Reyes does. That was what I was thinking about.